Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC, Pirates basketball and baseball, and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia, Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next. What's going on, everyone? Thrift, Barringer here. Georgia, Alabama Sports Live Show. We are live from Glynn Smith Chevrolet GMC. It's Memorial Day, and we hope you're having a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. It rained a little bit this morning like it was going to monsoon, but now the sun is out. And here joining me early on in the show is the general manager of the Columbus Lions, who just got in and clinched a playoff berth in the first season of the NAL. How about that? Nathan Fleury, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Thrift.
All right, let's go ahead. We are presented by Glynn Smith Chevrolet GMC, Buffalo Rock Pepsi, Gordy Eye Care, and, of course, Kinetic Credit Union. We got a ton we're going to be discussing. Jarvis Jones, coach at Carver. We're going to be talking Brookstone in the state championship, Columbus Lions, Columbus United, Clingstones. We got a ton we're going to get into. But the first thing we wanted to start off with, I think we got to do it right, is the Columbus Lions making the playoffs, man. So, Nathan, a few weeks ago, we lost a game at Colorado, and that was our third game in a row we have lost, but every single one of them we were right in it.
Okay? Oh, yeah.
Few roster changes, few moves at the quarterback position, and now the Lions have gone on a 3-game winning streak. They have beaten the undefeated Beaumont Renegades, the only undefeated team in the NAL, went on the road and smoked Wheeling, and, of course, dominated Shreveport at home. What have you seen? Who do you credit this incredible turnaround to, and now looking like the team that could win a championship?
The whole team, honestly, Thrift. I mean, Coach Dame has really pulled it off. Coach Young, and I mean, all the coaching staff, dude, it's phenomenal. The changes they've made, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better team. You seriously couldn't. We have made some roster changes, so of course you got to credit the players too, man.
Right.
We've had so many people come through that are just like, hey, look, I'm here to show up, show out, and show off, and they have. And I think that showed in our winning streak. But ultimately, I give the credit to the coaches and to Coach Dame. I really do, man. I mean, Coach Dame straight up said, "Look, this is not fixing to happen again. We're not going to lose again." And I think, I think he's made a statement. He's made a statement of, "Look, we are the Lions, and you're not touching us.
Right.
This is how it's going to be. This is how the rest of the season is going to go. We're fixing to show you who the Lions really are."
Listen, the only thing I'm upset about is the fact that I ain't got to call the last 2 games. The Beaumont game, I would have loved to, and I'm telling you right now, the way this team's playing, Nathan, we may end up making a trip. The broadcasting team to make sure that Columbus Lions fans can get a proper broadcast. Not saying anything about the other teams, but it'd be nice to have a Columbus Lions broadcast, especially in the playoffs and the championship. So trust me, that is going to be in the works, guys, because I definitely want that to be on Georgia, Alabama Sports Live and the Lions YouTube. And, again, giving Lions fans and people to tune in another broadcast if they wanted to listen to it. But with that being said, man, Vincent Espinoza, who is taking over at quarterback, what can you say about this guy? He has just been on fire. And I said this literally last week. If he finishes out the regular season the way he has started, coming in middle of the year and helping transform this team into a team that can win a championship. How is he not going to be league MVP? That's just in my opinion. And I'm looking at his passing stats right now, Nathan. 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's been great. Obviously, the running game was huge this past week against Wheeling. But Vincent, what can you say about him and his addition to the team?
Dude, he has added so much dynamic to the team. He's come in. He said he's going to do his best. He wants to win the championship. That's what he ultimately came in and said. He's like, look, he said, I'm here. Y'all use me for whatever you need me for. And, he stepped up to the plate. I think he's done a great job, on and off the field. And, he's when it comes to his passing game, dude, he's lethal when it comes to his passing. He's lethal when it comes to his runs.
Right.
He's lethal when it comes to the reads. He's just stepped up and really took off, man. It's been phenomenal. And right now, I think just with the games he's had, he's over 1,000 passing yards.
Yes.
So I'm dude, that is amazing in an arena football league.
It is, and he's done an excellent job coming in, taking over, doing what he's supposed to do.
Yes.
And then the offensive continuity we're seeing with Antoine Young, the offensive coordinator.
Yes.
He has done a great job making sure Vincent is in positions to be successful. The receivers have stepped up big. I call it obviously Tramel Gooden, who had 5 touchdown passes, catches, a few weeks ago. Jermon Fortson's been great. Trevion Samuel, who's been a new addition in the return game and in catching, plus Brian Robertson. Then you got Marco Lee, who is just a dominant running back that is just hard to tackle. He's physical. But then you add Espinoza on that play action, that zone read. It's really hard to stop.
It's dangerous, man. It really is. When you think about every weapon, every tool that we have an offensive line that will literally slam you down on the ground. We've got Marco Lee at a running back, which he's the Barry Sanders, man. He don't mind lowering his shoulder and just plowing through you. That's the way he is. All of our wide receivers, have pretty much sticky glue attached to their hands, and these guys are phenomenal. And then when you add Vince Espinoza in there, he's got the pass. He's got the type where he can literally sit there, look downfield. If everybody's covered, he's going to take the ball and run. He's not going to just sit there in the pocket. He's going to try his best to make sure we get some type of yardage out of it. So, ultimately, man, this offense we're going to be unstoppable.
Yeah,
honestly.
Now we got Wheeling coming up. Obviously, we just won 39-13. If you look at the standings, which by the way are nationalarenaleague.com, that's where you can find the standings. We are in second place in the American Division. I was just told today, I thought what normally happens in playoffs and in sports is that the number 2 team from one division plays the number 1 team from the opposite division. That is not what's happening this year.
No.
So can you explain, before we talk about Wheeling, how the playoff scenario is setting up right now? Because I think all 4 teams have pretty much clinched a spot.
Pretty much. It's gonna, like, on our side, it looks like it's gonna be us and Beaumont, or Beaumont and us, number 1 and number 2, and then on the opposite side, you're gonna have Omaha and Colorado. So the way this is going to work is this is going to go us versus Beaumont, and then Omaha versus Colorado. Whoever wins out of those is who ultimately goes to the championship game. So it could be one of 2 places, man, when it comes down to it. If we end up beating Beaumont, which wink, wink, I'm pretty sure we'll get there.
Yeah.
Especially
if we play like we have in the last 3 weeks, man.
But it all depends on who's going to end up winning between Colorado and Omaha on if we end up playing in Denver or if we end up playing in Omaha. So
we're probably not going to end up hosting. We lost to Colorado already.
Unfortunately.
And they're 6-2. And then Omaha, we did not even play, but they got 7 wins. And then Beaumont, obviously, they have already clinched the division. But the Lions, man, what a turnaround to win these last 3 weeks the way they have and dominate the way they had. Now, obviously, the games were a little bit close in the way it finished against Beaumont. We were up by double digits at half, heading into half. We ended up winning that 40-37, but winning that game in general on the road, you'll take it any way you can get it.
Exactly.
And then winning by 20 against Shreveport and the Wheeling Miners. What do you think, Coach Dame? And we'll talk about this on the Lions Inside the Den Coach Show this Wednesday with Dame when he comes on. But what do you think the mindset is for him and the team as they take on Wheeling in a game that really doesn't matter because they've already clinched, but you want to finish out the season strong?
So points do matter.
Yeah.
Points do matter. Points are a tiebreaker when it comes to a lot of things. So the mindset that I believe Coach Dame is going to be in is take every ounce that we can get, put everything into it that we can, but don't show our complete hand. That's one thing I love about Dame, dude. Dame's one of those. He's got so many plays, so his playbook is so large that he's one of those. He's like, all right, this is what it's going to take to beat them.
Right.
This is what we're going to pull off. Coach Young, same thing, man. A brilliant offensive mind that, I think they've got a lot of plays in their book that they're going to hold back on, but they're still going to try to rack up as many points as we can against the Miners. And then ultimately go ahead and try to prepare for Beaumont.
Yeah, again, points do matter. So
they do.
Right now, we want to keep stacking up as many points as we can and win as dominant as we can. So Wheeling comes in this weekend. What are some of the giveaways, promotions? What's happening for the game that's happening this Saturday night? The final home game, which really could be not only final home game of the regular season, Nathan, it could be the final home game of the entire year because we're probably going to end up being on the road for both playoff matches. So kind of tell everyone about how it's important. If you want to have a chance to see the Lions this year, you need to come out 7 p.m. this Saturday. You
have to, man. And look, this is actually going to be this is our first responder night. So this is going to be a big night. It's going to be a big night for everybody. We've got Headquarter Nissan that's going to be there.
Yep.
They're one of the sponsors for that night. But there's a lot that's going to go on. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of giveaways. And they'll like the way this is going to show off. So I'm not going to give away anything, but it's going to be really, really cool. Make sure that you are there first thing so y'all can see everything that's going to go down. We've got an amazing thing set up for at the very beginning when the guys, before the guys even come out.
Right.
So I think it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be a blast. We don't have to worry about the Clingstones being there this weekend.
No.
So it is literally going to be a Columbus Lions night.
Yep.
It's going to be a blast.
Yep.
It's going to be so much fun.
No Columbus United either. They're on the roads. Like this past weekend, graduation, Columbus United, the Clingstones, and the NAIA Softball World Series. Next Saturday, all you got to worry about, Columbus Lions.
Exactly.
Come out, support those Lions. I'm excited. 7 p.m. on Saturday night. We'll obviously have our pregame show like we always do. And then we'll have coverage on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, Columbus Lions YouTube, and the NAO YouTube. Any other news and notes you want to get out to the community before we have?
Look, guys, we're going to have suites available still. Come on down, join us. We've got VIP tickets available. Go to Ticketmaster.com, go to our website, go to ColumbusLions.net. Get your tickets, y'all. Come check us out. I really think y'all are going to have a blast. This is the last home game of the season, so come enjoy it. Show up, show out, and show off because that's what we're going to do.
I love the new phrase that general manager. We're going to have to put it on t-shirts. What is it? Show up, show out, and show off. That's Nathan Fleury. He's the general manager of the Lions. Lions clinch. How about that? Damian Daniels. Second guess him all you want. He has a chance to win another championship.
Yes, he does.
Espinosa's been great. We can't wait to see Casey and Richard Maslia, the owners down and president on Saturday. So thank you so much, Nathan, for coming here today.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Richard Holtz will be joining us virtually as we talk about everything that's happening in the Chattahoochee Valley area. And it's a lot here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show at Glynn Smith Chevrolet GMC on this now beautiful Memorial Day. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, my name is Griff Gordy, and here at Gordy Eye Care, we have been serving the Bi-City community for 17 years. As a former state championship quarterback, I love the fact that I can watch local high school athletics from the comfort of my own home. So it was a no-brainer to support Georgia Alabama Sports Live and what they do for young athletes in our area.
And without business like yourself, Gordy Eye Care, none of our coverage would be possible to be able to cover the 16 different high schools, the local colleges, and professional teams. So we'd like to say thank you to you, Dr. Griff Gordy and Gordy Eye Care, for your support of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And then you can make an appointment today at Gordy Eye Care with the number 334-291-5125. Keep supporting Gordy Eye Care and keep watching Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
My name is Quinteria Perry, and this is my CVCC story. I've graduated from CVCC with my associates in medical assistant, and I received my certification from CVCC. The training that I got from CVC and being prepared to come and do clinicals helped tremendously. I started looking at scholarships, and the Ambassador Scholarship was interesting to me because you did events to earn your scholarship and you meet people. My favorite part about my job is meeting patients every day. They will crack me up every day. They make my day better. I would recommend CVCC to anyone that asks because of the scholarships, the teachers, the small stuff that you can't get at a university. They actually take the time out for each student.
Let's go! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Woo!
Hey! Set the tone. Kyle, tie your shoes, tie your shoes. Yeah, good job. Woo! Yeah!
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and
Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars, to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC, Pirates basketball and baseball, and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia, Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next. Georgia, Alabama Sports Live wants to say thank you to one of our presenting sponsors, Buffalo Rock, and their partnership with everything that we do. And without businesses like Buffalo Rock, we wouldn't be able to go cover softball, volleyball games, every type of high school sport you can think of, local college games, and professional. So thank you to those businesses that support us, and specifically Buffalo Rock. And next time you're watching a Georgia, Alabama Sports Live broadcast after a nice long day, why not enjoy it with a nice, refreshing sorry? The best lemon lime soda around. Thank you to Sorry and Buffalo Rock for our partnership on Georgia, Alabama.
I'm always on the go. But with the Kinetic Credit Union app, Kinetic is always with me. The Kinetic mobile app is virtual banking at its best. With the Kinetic mobile app, I can easily send and receive money, make a deposit, pay some bills, and I can even open up a new account, all from my phone. And I can monitor all my accounts in one place, all on the go. The Kinetic mobile app, energized banking at its best.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
Welcome back, everyone, here live from live on Memorial Day from Glynn Smith Chevrolet GMC. And thank you to Nathan Fleury for just joining us. And now I'm going to bring him on, the man himself. His name is Big Rich. He is virtual right now as he's got daddy duties and he is home alone. So my man is still being on the show, but can't leave the house. Big Rich, how's it been, man? How are you?
I'm doing great, Thrift. Yeah, you are absolutely right about can't leave the house. My wife actually left the country. I'm watching my kids, and I'm just waiting on the in-laws to get here to relieve me.
Well, Rich, we got a lot we're going to be getting into. I don't know if you noticed, but a ton has happened here in the last couple of days in the Chattahoochee Valley area, and I can't wait to get into it, man. So it's going to be a lot of fun talking about everything that's happened around this area. But first, what I want to do is I want to take another quick break. Do not go anywhere, everyone. I'll be back in 30 seconds. I promise you. And it's the Georgia, Alabama Sports Live show here from Glynn Smith Chevrolet GMC. Do not go anywhere. We got some great news we're going to drop for you.
Even though I'm away at college, Kinetic Credit Union is still the best way for me to stay connected here and at home. With the Kinetic mobile app, I have control of my accounts wherever I go. I can easily transfer money between internal and external accounts, get money faster by setting up recurring transfers, and I can find the nearest ATM or branch right from my phone. Plus, I can add my Kinetic cards to my phone's digital wallet and enjoy quick, secure, contactless payments. By the way, Mom, I need some more money.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Georgia, Alabama Sports Live show here from Glynn Smith Chevrolet GMC. It's Thrift, Barringer, and Big Rich. All right, Rich, I don't know if you were living under a rock or what you were doing, but we're going to start it off. The Carver Tigers have found their man, and it didn't take longer than a week. The bombshell dropped. Pierre Coffey, who led the Carver Tigers to a state championship, won over 60 games, won over 80% of his games, went to a quarterfinal, semifinal, and won a state championship. He's leaving to be the principal at Stewart County High School. And they're like, oh, no, big void. Who's going to step into a winning program that returns majority of its starters from last year's team? Well, guess what? They found him. His name is Jarvis Jones. He is former Georgia Bulldog All-American, was a first-round draft pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and has recently been on Kirby Smart's staff for the Georgia Bulldogs. This guy is elated. He's excited. You can tell he's got a lot of energy and passion. His family was there. The Carver community rallied around him because he's one of their own, helping lead them to a state championship, their first ever in 07. Richard, what was your initial thought when you saw this news break that Jarvis Jones is now the head coach of the Carver Tigers?
Home run hire. You talk about a Carver legend that led Carver to a state title in 2007 and then went on and was an All-American at Georgia and almost led Georgia to the national championship. He was part of that 2012 team that came so close in that SEC championship against Alabama. He not only his playing skills, but just the fact that he was on Kirby Smart's staff. Now he's got a coaching background. He's going to put a staff together, and I think the Carver Tigers are not going to skip a beat. I really appreciate everything that Coach Pierre Coffey did in leading the Carver Tigers to a state championship. But I think that Jarvis Jones is going to have so much success, and also Anson Hunley is now going to be the athletic director. I mean, so everything's in place. I can't wait to see Jarvis Jones coaching on the sidelines. I mean, you talk about a Carver legend, also a Georgia high school football Hall of Famer. And wow, I was blown away. And what a great press conference. And I know he's going to do great things for the Carver Tigers.
He's going to do great things. And he's going to, I think, continue the sustained success we've seen from under Coach Coffey. And Carver has got their man. They got a great guy. I was glad to be at the press conference yesterday. Thank you to Chris Gates for helping me live stream that. And then, of course, we were able to get the interview with him immediately afterwards. It was a lot of fun, too. And then, obviously, you just made mention Anson Hunley goes from assistant athletic director and head girls basketball coach to now athletic director and still head girls basketball coach. Under the leadership of Christopher Lindsay and Mr. Watts, the principal and assistant principal, now moving Hunley up to AD, and he's got some great things he's going to be doing here in the near future with all the Carver athletic programs. Just big-time news coming out from the team on the Hill. I think Jarvis is going to do wonders. I think he's going to be able to relate to the players unlike any probably coach can. I think he's going to be able to help develop them. He's going to be able to give them a message because he was in their shoes and then made it to the highest level. I think this could not have been a better hire, especially from the circumstance of you losing your coach after winning a state championship late like it is now in May, Richard, which is so they just got done with spring practice. They just had their spring games in New Manchester, and now you're trying to find a new coach. That could have been worrisome for the program, and yet they found their guy within a week, and he's ready to take over. And I'm excited to see who he's going to put around his staff. So we're going to hopefully talk to him on the Sports Vision Morning Show here in the near future. So congratulations, Jarvis Jones, the Carver Tigers. And now I think, for one, with Coffey, I thought they were going to be defending champions. And I think now with Jarvis, I think he's going to transition smoothly. And I think they're going to win another state championship, Richard. I think with the talent they have there, he can get the coaching staff in place to understand how to put that talent in the position to be successful. Why can't the Carver Tigers go back-to-back with a new head coach, Richard?
Yeah, why can't they? Especially when they have 3 players that are in the top 50, according to Rivals.com, in the state of Georgia, starting with their 5-star defensive end, Tristan Givens. We saw this guy. I think he's going to probably be in the footsteps. Wherever he goes, I mean, he's going to have success at the next level. I think he's verbally committed to Florida State, but I'll try to get a confirmation on that. I got to look and see. I mean, he hasn't officially said where he's going to go. And, of course, we'll have early signing day in December. But you talk about somebody that could possibly be a first-round pick like Jarvis Jones was, or like a Michael Williams. And then you also have Parker Pritchett, just outstanding offensive tackle. You look at the success of Elijah Pritchett, Keldon Smith. I mean, they've had success at the offensive tackle and guard position. And then KJ Miles, injured most of the 2024 season. KJ Miles stepped up big in that championship against Burke County. This is a physical possession receiver, could probably play tight end at the next level. But this guy kind of reminds me of Kyle Pitts. He's a wide receiver, but he's big and physical, so he could also be a tight end. And I'm excited. I mean, you got Jacoby Caslin, you got Kelston Poplar-Tarver, you've got Zay Billingsley, Colin Hodge. I mean, they are loaded coming back for the 2025 season.
They 100% are, Richard, and I cannot wait to call some games. I told him that yesterday. I can't wait to see them on the practice field. I can't wait to see them playing some games. This, again, is big for the community. I love the fact I mean, it's an outside hire, but it's really a guy that's been inside of the program before and still keeps up with the program. He bleeds Carver Tiger. Yes, he loves his Georgia Bulldogs, but this is where he really cut his teeth and became Jarvis Jones, who the sack man, as they call him, Richard, was from being at Carver, and then, of course, All-American at Georgia, playing the NFL for several years, and now been a coach on Kirby Smart's staff. This guy's got the pedigree. Another great hire, and I know DJ Jones agreed with that. I can't wait to talk about it on the Sports Vision Morning Show tomorrow. All right, let's move on from that, and let's go to the Lions. As I made mention with Nathan Fleury, how about the Lions, Richard? Get a big win. They clinch. They're in the playoffs again, and now they're on a 3-game winning streak. I think it's going to be 4 after this Saturday. Final home game, 7 p.m. You need to be there. Civic Center. First responders get in for free. If they beat Wheeling, they'll be now 6-3, 4-game winning streak. They beat undefeated Beaumont, who they'll play in the first round in the semifinals of the playoffs. They win that, they'll take on the winner of the national division that is between Omaha and, of course, Colorado. They lost Colorado, did not play Omaha, so they would be fine with either one. Rematch of Colorado, get a chance to take down Omaha, but Lions, they've been sensational. Vincent Espinosa's been great. The defense was lights out. They dominated Wheeling 39-13, and anybody that second-guessed the Lions, they should be kicking themselves because it dang sure wasn't me, Richard.
By the way, before I get into the Lions, I want to correct myself. Tristan is undecided, according to Rivals.com. I apologize. I already had him going to Florida State. So if Tristan, if you're watching, I'm sorry, you're undecided. We'll wait until you make that decision, maybe during signing day. But I do want to talk about how the Columbus Lions are playing their best football at the right time, getting a huge win over the Wheeling Miners on the road. And that's the second road game where they were able to defeat the Beaumont Renegades. They were able to defeat the Shreveport Rougarou and now the Wheeling Miners. And it's the quarterback play. Vincent Espinosa has truly been sensational. And Nathan Fleury, the GM, was talking about the playoff format that, of course, the Lions want to get a big win at home, but they're in the playoffs. They've clinched the number 2 seed. They're going to take on the Beaumont Renegades in the first round of the playoffs. If they can win, because they were able to win in Beaumont, they'll await the winner of Omaha and Colorado. And why not the Columbus Lions? Why can't they win their first ever NAL championship? They're playing their best football at the right time. And we could play the what if game. Like if they were playing this great in the beginning of the season, that they might be hosting a home playoff game and maybe even the championship. But it's okay because they know that they're firing on all cylinders, and they just want to finish the season strong and get that confidence going into the playoffs.
I think that's a great point, Richard, and can't wait to call the game this Saturday night at 7 p.m. Georgia Alabama Sports Live, NAL YouTube, and Columbus Lions YouTube. All right, now let's talk about some of the things that happened on the field. And we talked about off. Now let's talk about on the field in high school. And we'll start with Brookstone. The Cougars, after going down 1-0 in the series against Bullock, losing that first game 6-0, they were getting shut out 2-0 in game 2. They went 11 straight innings without scoring a run, Richard. Since that moment, this team has just been on fire. Brendan Neal struck out 11 in that game 2 against Bullock. They won 8-3. They won that game 3 last Monday in a winner-take-all 10-0. Luke Lowry threw a no-hitter. Then they continue the hot bats. They won game 1 against Tatnall, who I thought is a really good team, and I thought this was very evenly matched. It didn't look evenly matched on the field. Greg Mathis' team dominated Tatnall 13-3 in that game 1. John Woo Kim got another big win. He was great on the mound. The bats were hot. They kept getting hit after hit after hit. Brendan Neal was sensational in the field at short and then hitting. And then he turned around, and after having that 11 strikeout, got a win game 2 against Bullock last week. He turned around this week, Richard, in a game 2 to strike out 10. That's back-to-back playoff performances. He had double-digit strikeouts, and he threw a gem. 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, only gave up 1 run, and they won 2-1. Had timely hitting. Luke Lowry, who was my MVP, one of my MVPs, again, had multiple hits in that game 2, and one of them being the go-ahead run that put him up 2-0 And then, of course, Tatnall scored a run in the 7th, but that was all Brendan gave up. What a job by this sophomore, who I think is going to be one of the best, if not the best player in the state in a few years. Unbelievable job by Coach Mathis to rally his troops, keep them focused, battling back from Bullock to now take down Tatnall. They're back in the state championship, Richard, and this time they're going to be playing in their hometown of Columbus at Synovus Park against the team they beat last year, FPD. Now, Brookstone's number 2, FPD number 1. We'll talk about that matchup in a moment, but what can you say about the Cougars dominating Tatnall Square? Did not think that was going to happen, and now they look like the team to beat, like we thought going into the playoffs.
I seriously thought this was going to be a 3-game series, but Brookstone's playing their best baseball at the right time. You talk about a Tatnall Square team that could easily be the number 1 team in the GIAA, and Brookstone smoked them in that first game. It was 2-1 in that second game, and Brookstone didn't have to play a third game. And you talk about the pitching with Chanu Kim and Brendan Neal. Luke Lowry's bat has been hot. You got Maxwell Jones, Gray Jones doing their thing. Mercer Hudson, Brendan Neal at the top of the lineup. Charles Briscoe, just a sure third baseman. Will Turner over at second base. All 9 starters and their pitching has been like on fire, and they've been able to get the job done. Now they take on a First Presbyterian Day team that smoked Athens Christian in both games. And they got one of the best players in the GIAA that's going to be in the major leagues, Keon Johnson. I cannot wait for that series at Synovus Park on next Thursday.
Yeah, I can't wait either, man. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing how that turns out, and being able to call those state championship games for GIAA and the GIAA.TV. I'll be on the call Thursday, Friday, and if necessary on Saturday. All times are 7 p.m. for Brookstone at Synovus Park. So that should be a ton of fun. Okay, so now we go from Brookstone baseball to let's talk about soccer. Pacelli Boys and Girls, Richard, they should just call it the Pacelli Boys and Girls Soccer Championship Cup. Because how about the Cougars, man, to be able – the Vikings. Both of them are back in the state championship after last year. The girls lost to Brookstone. The boys won it all. And guess what? They take on a rematch. The boys take on Stratford again, and the girls take on Brookstone. And listen, man, rematch. Brookstone won it all last year. Obviously, Pacelli's the heavy favorite this year in the girls. For the boys, Stratford's a heavy favorite. Richard, what do you got to say about these two? I'll be on the call for them Tuesday and Wednesday in Macon at Stratford Academy. Both of them are the primetime games, 7 p.m. Brookstone Pacelli girls for the state championship, 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Pacelli Stratford for the boys on Wednesday.
Well, here's an interesting fact. Although the Brookstone Lady Cougars are the defending 4A champions in soccer, the Pacelli girls have never won a state championship for soccer, and they are the overall number 1 seed. They had no problem with First Presbyterian Day. I was on the call. Of course, Addie Christensen ended up getting a goal, and they just are playing their best soccer right now. Brookstone has really been the darlings of the tournament. They were the 6th seed. They were able to upset the Kings Academy, and then a huge upset over the number 2 seed, Stratford Academy, 2-1. They were able to advance, and now we've got Brookstone and Pacelli once again, and this was the volleyball championship in the GIAA, and for the second year in a row, this is the soccer championship. As for the boys, they had a tough test going on the road to taking on Tallulah Falls. How about those Pacelli boys? Ended up getting the win to advance back to the state championship where they fell to Stratford Academy last year. Stratford Academy, Thrift, you don't realize that we were a goal away from having an all Columbus boys and girls soccer final because Stratford Academy beat Calvary 1-0. And you got to think, wow. I mean, Calvary, the number 6 seed, they took Stratford, the defending champions, all the way to the brink. But once again, it's going to be Stratford and Pacelli in the boys championship. And I can't wait to talk to Coach Ian Jones. He's our soccer correspondent for the Inside the GIAA. I know that he's excited that his Stratford boys are back in the championship and trying to get a a repeat. But yeah, we're pulling for the Pacelli boys and girls, and hopefully, and Brookstone as well for the girls championship. I mean, I know that regardless of the outcome, we know that a team from Columbus is going to win the girls soccer championship once again.
I completely agree with that. And by the way, you can watch that Inside the GIAA show tonight on GIAA.tv, the Georgia Independent Athletic Association Facebook page, and YouTube channel. And we're going to break down all the brackets, talk about who's going to win. I think Pacelli could both bring girls and boys home, but like you said, there's no loser for the Columbus area when Brookstone girls take on Pacelli girls. So we're at least getting a Columbus team there, and we're cheering for Pacelli boys, obviously, against Stratford. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Again, all GIAA soccer and baseball state championship are coming up here in the next few days. Stratford Academy for soccer, Synovus Park for the baseball state championships. All right, speaking of soccer, let's now move on. And by the way, good wins. Again, you were on the call for Pacelli as they won. How about Pacelli and Brookstone? Brookstone girls and Pacelli boys both going on the road. And then Calvary just lost to Stratford 1-0 in a heartbreaking loss. Or we could have had a Calvary Pacelli all Columbus boys final too. So congratulations to all those teams, and great season for the Calvary Christian Knights soccer program. United got a loss against their first of the season. They were 0-2 with 2 ties. Now they're 0-1-2. Break down the game, Rich. Tell us how it went on Saturday. I was talking with my cousin Paxton when I went to a movie last night. Saw him there with his girlfriend. He was telling me about being at Memorial. The fan attendance was great, and just hated they didn't get to pull out the victory.
Yeah, they dubbed this the Peanuts and Cola Derby because of that rivalry with the city of Columbus and the city of Dothan. And Dothan United did bring their fans. It was an electric atmosphere at Memorial Stadium. However, Columbus United did fall 1-0, and they played tough. The defense played very tough, but Dothan United ended up getting a goal because they had an extra man. Unfortunately, Rita Ikarin got a red card in that first half. And anytime you're a team that gets a red card, you got to play a man down the entire match. That can be demoralizing. You just got to hold on for dear life and hope you can get out of there with a tie. And it just wasn't enough. They had some opportunities. Harshaw had one-on-one with a keeper, and the keeper ended up deflecting it with a huge save. And you had Carter Berg come in there as a sub. I mean, Evans Defa doing his thing as that midfield position. I've been very impressed with the defensive play of Nicholas Gettridge. He is really coming on strong as a defender. Of course, you got Valentin Fontaine, the midfielder, who's been great. And I've been so impressed with their goalkeeper as well. But Columbus United FC, they still have 2 points in the South Central Division. They will take on Apothos FC on June the 4th. So they're going to get a whole week off. And I was talking to Coach Brett Teach, and they could really use a week off because they're about to have 4 soccer matches in a 2-week span, all at home. And we're excited because it's going to be the Wednesday night edition, Ted Lasso night. It's always fun. The soccer fans come out to Columbus, and they support Columbus United FC. It's a great atmosphere. Unfortunately, they just fell up short to Dothan United, a very good team that was coming in with a lot of momentum because they beat Montgomery United FC 3-1 in the match before. But yeah, looking forward to when Columbus comes down to Dothan to play them on the road. You know, these two cities are only separated by 2 hours. So I was excited about this rivalry, and unfortunately, Columbus United came up short as they lose 1-0 because they were playing a man down.
And you can watch the replay on Georgia Alabama Sports Live right now. Go to our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can see how that game went down. But again, heartbreaker. But as Coach T talked about, it's going to be a long summer. They need to be able to regroup, and then it's going to be gung-ho for the rest of the year. And we'll have a Columbus United show later on this week, obviously, and we'll have Inside the Den coming up this week. But then I did want to kind of wrap up with talking about the Columbus Clingstones that's going on locally as they got to 500. They were on a 4-game winning streak. They were right there trying to keep up with the team that is in first place, which is obviously Biloxi, who is 28-17. They have the best record in all of the Southern League. So right now, Columbus is 6.5 games back. They lost the final 2 games of the series, 1-0, 1-0. So now they're 2 games back at 500. But again, I think this team will be right in the thick of things when July, August get around, trying to vie for that Southern League, Southern Championship, the South Championship. But Richard, they lost their 2 games, so they ended that 4-2. 5-2, because they played 6-7 games because of the doubleheader. Yeah. So they went 5-2, I think, against them, and got on the 5-game winning streak, got to 21-21. They were 16-21 at the end of the series. They got to 21-21, won 5 in a row, and then they lost Saturday and Sunday. But still, the Clingstones sell out crowds, and they've just still the hottest thing going right now in the Columbus area, Richard.
Yeah, truly was remarkable to take 5 out of 7 against the Montgomery Biscuits. Currently 21-23. A lot of moves happening. They are actually going to be going on the road, taking on the Chattanooga Lookouts. That's going to be tomorrow for a 6-game series. And then they will end up having another 6-game series on the road, taking on the Pensacola Blue Wahoo. So, the Jack Johnson and the team, they're going to be having that 2-week road trip. That's going to be very challenging, but they're going to be back home at Synovus Park on June the 10th, taking on the Knoxville Smokies. And I actually, because I was calling the PA announcing for the NAI World Series, and I was at the Columbus United. I actually got done early on Friday, and so I just wanted to stroll over to I was there on Thursday. I just wanted to stroll over there because I have not been to Synovus Park since the opener, and still big crowds. I was looking at the crowd like on the Clingstones Facebook page for Sunday. They had a Sunday night game at a 6:05 first pitch because it's Memorial Day today, and a huge crowd. Nobody has to go to work today. So it looked like every seat was filled for Sunday. I know that Jack Johnson's been saying that the attendance is over 4,000, but this is a huge success to see this already almost at the halfway point in the season, to still have huge crowds after all these openers and the home. And actually, Thursday was pretty unique because they did have that doubleheader, and I really am truly amazed by the fan support for the Columbus Clingstones, and I'm blown away. And they're playing really good too. I mean, they're only 2 games under 500. They're actually winning series, and I've been impressed with Ethan Workinger. I've been impressed with their pitching. And I can't wait to get out and see the Clingstones once again.
Yeah, I can't either, Richard. And again, they'll be back at home, not this week, but next week. This week, the park's going to be used again for the GIAA state championships. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. When we come back from break, we'll talk about what we're going to be at this week, what's going on, and then we'll wrap it up with some conference finals discussions. Pacers and Knicks, every game's been great. Thunder and T-Wolves, I think it's going 7. We'll talk about that and more right here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show.
Welcome to the Campus Academy Private School, where every student is celebrated for their individuality. With personalized curriculum, students unlock their potential, growing into confident learners. At the Campus Academy, we give teachers the freedom to create dynamic classrooms where every student's voice is heard. Discover the difference. Enroll your child today and watch them thrive.
Hi, my name is Griff Gordy, and here at Gordy Eye Care, we have been serving the Bi-City community for 17 years. As a former state championship quarterback, I love the fact that I can watch local high school athletics from the comfort of my own home. So it was a no-brainer to support Georgia Alabama Sports Live and what they do for young athletes in our area.
And without business like yourself, Gordy Eye Care, none of our coverage would be possible. To be able to cover these 16 different high schools, the local colleges, and professional teams. So we'd like to say thank you to you, Dr. Griff Gordy and Gordy Eye Care, for your support of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And then you can make an appointment today at Gordy Eye Care with the number 334-291 888-888-5125. Keep supporting Gordy Eye Care and keep watching Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Welcome back, everyone, to the show here live from Glynn Smith Chevrolet GMC. They got a ton of inventory. They got so many sales rep on staff right now that are here. If you got nothing else going on in this beautiful Memorial Day, come take a test drive of their GMC. I drive a Sierra. I'm telling you, it's one of the best trucks and best investments I've ever made. Glynn Smith's been one of the top dealerships, not only here in Alabama, but in the entire Southeast and in the nation. We've had people come across the country to buy their car or truck here. When you're making an investment like that, you want people that are going to take care of you. Get that down home feeling, but in a big atmosphere that's got hundreds of inventory on the lot right now. It's Glynn Smith Chevrolet GMC. Go to glennsmith.com. That's glennsmith.com. Check out the inventory before you even get here, and then kind of go ahead and see what you want and let the sales staff take care of you. Thank you again to Jerry Potter for their partnership of what we do on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. This week, really not a lot going on streaming-wise, as I made mention on the Brookstone broadcast last Friday. That was our last high school sport that we'll be able to broadcast on our platform. Now I'll be calling games this week. They won't be on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I'm going to get an interview with the Pacelli or Brookstone winner, and I'm going to get an interview, hopefully, with the Pacelli boys if they can beat Stratford. And so you'll be able to see that. But outside of this, we won't be streaming a lot this week. We will have Inside the Den show. We'll have another Georgia Alabama Sports Live show. We'll have Columbus United show all happening this week. And then on Saturday, we are going to be streaming the final home game of the Lions. And then before you know it, in the next couple of weeks, we got Summer League basketball. But again, United soccer will still be going on. We'll try to get Columbus Lions playoffs as well. But like I said, going to be slowing down a little bit. You're going to see a lot more shows and more short-form content we're going to be putting out there. And Richard is going to be gone for the next couple of weeks. He'll be back here and there, and we'll be back full-time towards the 3rd or 4th week of June. Richard's doing his, obviously, military obligations, so he'll be out. So got a lot happening. And I just want to say thank you again to Brant, who is in charge of the NAIA, and also Mary Sherman of the Columbus Sports Council, myself, Mike Peacock, and Ricky Rogers, Richard. We were all the voices of the NAIA Softball World Series. Noah Shelton also will be voicing and doing some games tomorrow as well. And then Ricky will do the championship. We started this last Thursday. I did those games all Thursday. Richard did all Friday. Ricky and Mike did them Saturday and Monday, and then Tuesday is going to be Noah. It was a great group effort. We enjoyed being there. We had some elite level softball teams. Reinhardt and Georgia Gwinnett are some of the NAIA. And if you don't know NAIA, it's the National Athletic Intercollegiate Association. And I equate it to talent-wise right between Division I and Division II. And they've been doing this softball here for over 15 years, Richard. And I know you've covered it before, but now getting to actually be the voice, it was a pleasure. And I know you enjoyed being able to do it too. And can't wait to see who the champion's going to be on Wednesday night.
Yeah, it was a great reunion to see the softball coach of my alma mater, Freed-Hardeman University, who was in this thing in 2022, as Coach Todd Humphrey, who's been the softball coach there for 25 years now. He was there when I was a student, and he actually works with the NAIA, and he's part of the getting the broadcast and all the stats and making sure that everything goes smoothly. I tell you what, I know that we're familiar with Georgia Gwinnett and Reinhardt. They were the only two Georgia representatives in this thing. Georgia Gwinnett is actually going to be taking on Grandview in the elimination bracket. Oklahoma City is probably going to win this thing. With people that are not familiar with the NAIA, Oklahoma City is the equivalent of North Dakota State in FCS, or Grand Valley in D2, or Mount Union in D3. Oklahoma City wins just about every single event in the NAIA, and they were the 4 seed. They're going to be taking on Grandview today. We've got Marion from Indiana taking on Eastern Oregon, and then in the elimination bracket, Georgia Gwinnett taking on Grandview of Iowa, and then we've got Marion going to be taking on Southern Oregon in the elimination bracket. So like you mentioned, Thrift, the championship's going to be Wednesday. I had a lot of fun on Friday calling all those games, and I tell you what, it's really exciting, and I was glad to be a part of the NAIA Softball World Series this year. I want to thank Mary Sherman and David Boyd of the Columbus Sports Council for giving me this opportunity. Ricky and Mike visited me up in the press box on Friday. I was just showing them the ropes. Had a lot of fun playing music between innings. I used to be a DJ in college, so I could pick and choose whatever song I wanted, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was, man, and I can't wait to see how it plays out like you just made mention. So thank you for allowing Georgia Alabama Sports Live to provide you PA announcers for the NAIA Softball World Series. All right, like I made mention, we'll have Inside the Den, we'll have Columbus Lions Show, we'll have interviews from the state championship games, we'll have coverage from Brookstone and let you know who won Game 1, who won Game 2, who won Game 3. We'll have all that on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. We've got the Lions game on Saturday as well. Fountain City we're doing. So, again, another busy week here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and ready to put a bow on the month of May and heading into June and start focusing on what we got for next year. All right, let's go ahead and put up unsolicited if we can. If someone can find that for me. And while y'all are doing that, look at that. Someone knows what they're doing. It's already up right now. So, Richard, let's get into it. NBA Conference Finals. Let's first start with the best one, which is the Eastern Conference Finals. I told you these matches were evenly matched. This is going to be a series that goes down to the wire. I know the Pacers won Game 1 and Game 2. That comeback in Game 1 was incredible. How about the Knicks doing the same thing in Game 3 that the Pacers did to them in Game 1 at Indiana? I see the Knicks winning Game 2, and I see this going 7 games. And think about a Game 7 in New York, Conference Finals, the right to the NBA Finals. The NBA has been dreaming of this scenario. I have enjoyed and watched every second of all 3 games. I thoroughly enjoy it. What are your thoughts so far as Halliburton, Brunson, Pascal Siakam, and Karl Anthony Towns? The defense of the Knicks, so we're just shutting down and suffocating the Pacers. The offense of the Pacers heading into that first half in Games 1 and 2, first half of Game 3, they look like they were unstoppable. This is what we expected and what we want when we see a conference finals, Richard.
Well, for the average basketball fan that thought, well, New York dropped the first 2 games in New York, that this series is over. The Pacers are going to sweep. Well, not so fast. New York ends up winning 106-100. And I think that all the pressure when they get out of the Garden, you see visiting teams that step their game up when they go to the Garden. And I admit, Game 1 was an absolute collapse by the New York Knicks. I mean, it couldn't be scripted any better, especially with Tyrese Halliburton with the choking gesture. Reggie Miller was there as an analyst, and all this, is building up for something in Game 2. The Knicks got to win Game 2. They got to win Game 2, and they end up losing Game 2. But I still think that this Knicks team can win in Indiana, and I do think they win Game 4 just because I think the Knicks play a little bit looser when they're away from the Garden, just because you got all the celebrities out there. You've got Madison Square Garden. There's a lot of pressure for the Knicks to win. This is the biggest playoff games in Knicks history since 2000. I mean, and so all the celebrities are going to come out, and I think this is going to be a fantastic series. I don't know who's going to win, but I do think it's going to go 7 games. And as for OKC and Minnesota, well, it usually is not a series until the visiting team wins a game on the road. I do think OKC wins because they just play fantastic at home. I was actually watching, you're starting to see the development of the size that can match Minnesota with Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hardenstein. They really can match the Rudy Gobert and the Julius Randle and the Naz Reid. Anthony Edwards plays better at home. You're going to start seeing Jalen Williams become a very good number 2 to the MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, it's NBA Conference Playoffs basketball. It doesn't get any better than this. Look, as a selfish fan that wants to see, Knicks, Timberwolves in the NBA Finals, I'd be okay with Pacers Thunder. I think that would be.
I don't think there's a bad matchup at all, Richard. I think that you're right on that. And as you may mention in the Western Conference, the 40-point beatdown, I'm not taking too much in effect. I think the Thunder are playing excellent. Their defense is incredible. It's always someone new stepping up, whether it be the other Jalen Williams that's on the team, Kendrick Williams, or it'd be Alex Caruso, Case Wallace. Obviously, you got Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Lou Dort, but Anthony Edwards is a type of guy that I think can go toe-to-toe with Shea. And if Julius can step up the way he did in game number 3, I think the Timberwolves can win game 2. I'm telling you, I see both these series go in 7 games. I really do. But, Richard, we got Chris Gates that's got something to say. Well, until he gets his microphone fixed, see if he can't get that up and running.
I just want to say, Crazy Chris here. And I don't disagree with either one of you, but I do want to say this. The Knicks are trash. Pacers in 5, baby. Heard it right here. They're done. They're done. You come back only one time for 20 points. That's it. That's all you're getting, baby.
Listen,
you ain't getting nothing
Shannon
else.
Sharp, a.k.a. Chrissy Gates, coming on board.
That's the Crazy Chris segment for you right there.
Jalen Brunson, Kel Dunson, Rick Brunson, Pacers in 5. No, but I think I thoroughly enjoy it, and I'm with you. Now, ratings-wise, obviously, the NBA probably would want Ant-Man versus the Knicks, but Pacers-Thunder may be the better matchup because those two may be the better teams. And you're talking about evenly matched, Shea versus Tyrese, Siakam versus Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams versus Aaron Nesmith. Man, I'm already getting fired up thinking about all those matchups. So can't wait to see those play out here in the near future. Make sure to tune into the Sports Engine Morning Show tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Me and DJ will be back in studio after a couple of days off, and then I'll be out on Wednesday and then back in studio for Thursday and Friday. They got the GIAA soccer and baseball state championships as well. You got, by the way, college baseball has started, Big Rich, and their brackets are out, and 8 of the 16 teams that host regionals are in the SEC. And Auburn has the potential not only to host the regional, but the super regional as well as a 7 seed. So the Auburn Tigers, Georgia, the 5 seed, they'll be doing that, hosting a regional and super regional. You also got Vanderbilt, who won the SEC tournament. They're the number 1 seed right now. So I can't wait to see how that plays out. And Ronald Acuna Jr. is back. How about hitting a home run on his first pitch? Are you kidding me? First pitch, he hits a bomb. Now, the Braves ended up losing that game, and they lost game 3-2. Typical Braves. Now you got Acuna coming back, and he's on fire, and you still can't sweep the Padres. But that's neither here nor there. Still doesn't take away from the greatness of Ronald Acuna Jr. And, man, would that have been a sight if we could have saw him at Synovus Park. But glad he's back in a Braves uniform and out there doing what he does best, which is playing baseball.
Yeah, I love that Ronald Acuna Jr. is back, hits a home run on his first at bat, and rehabbing that ACL injury, taking a year off. We saw this in 2021. I think that the Braves pitching, it's been okay. Chris Sale is not what he was last year with the Cy Young, and Spencer Schwallenbach could be a decent number 3, number 4 starter. They need to get Spencer Strider back to his ace format. I think if the Atlanta Braves can start rattling off some wins and sneak into the playoffs, I would take Spencer Strider and Chris Sale in a game 1 and a game 2. If they got to win 2 games, those are a pretty good number 1 and number 2 starters. Right now, the Phillies overtaking the Mets in the NL East. The Detroit Tigers have the best record in baseball. I mean, this is exciting time if you're a baseball fan, just because everything that's been going on in not just for the Braves, but Major League Baseball. My Giants is trying to challenge the Dodgers and the Padres in the NL West. I mean, it's just a great to see the Cubs back. I want to see the Cubs do well because they haven't really done anything since they won the World Series in 2016. But, man, it's great. It's great to be a baseball fan right now.
It is, but I'm still not freaking out because guess what? It's not even July yet. And until it gets to August.
Atlanta's hosting the All-Star game.
Yeah, and then we got the All-Star game too. Chris, final thoughts before we get out of here.
I just want to say another crazy thing, and I don't care what y'all say, but this is my hot take, my unsolicited hot take. Spencer Strider is not a starter. He needs to be a relief pitcher.
Ooh.
That's my personal opinion. I think he will be better if he relief pitches, even close. Sorry. I don't know if he could do 6 or 7 innings after that surgery. I think they need to talk about that. No one wants to talk about it, but I don't care. You can meet me at the Waffle House if you got something to say to me. Also, second, I just want to say this to you, Richard, since I know y'all talked about it, but Richard, real quickly, your 49ers are playing the Falcons in Sunday Night Football. They're not very good this year. What do you think about that?
I give the over and under. I'm going to put it at 10. the times that Chris Collinsworth mentions that Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons.
I got
on
something
the
better for you.
broadcast.
I got something
10.
better for you. Here's a
He will
guy
mention it
that is
10
Richard
times on the
Holtz,
broadcast.
that he thinks he knows everything that everything that Chris Collinsworth is going to do. All right, I want to wrap it up by saying I think Brookstone, they're taking on FPD. If Chanu Kim, Brennan Neal, Luke Lowry, that 3 pitching duo right there in the depth and the bats continue to stay hot, I think they take down FPD. I think they win a state championship, and we'll have Brookstone and Glenwood, both a Georgia and an Alabama team, winning a state championship in our coverage area. I think Neal, who's been unhittable, Kim, who's bounced back after that game 1, and Lowry threw a no-hitter in a game 3. No team in the GIAA has this much pitching depth, and I think that's going to be the reason why they win a championship. We're going to talk about that and more on Inside the GIAA State Championship Preview tonight at 8 p.m. on the GIAA.TV YouTube channel and, of course, Facebook page. From Richard Holdridge, Chris Gates, I'm Thrift Barringer. Thank you again to Glynn Smith Chevrolet GMC on this Memorial Day. Come out and see all the inventory, and we'll see you next time on the Georgia-Alabama Sports Live Show. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for watching the Georgia-Alabama Sports Live Show presented by Glynn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. You're ready to smile. Actually, we are not going to